What's up, Brandon?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good. What's happening?
I was kind of curious what you think about. I have an idea for a GM possibility for Mike Mayock. He's a former Giants player, and
but boy, not a long player. But I mean, listen, I understand, but to me, the Mike Mayock would be an unusual choice for the Giants. It's just, again, not the Giant way to bring that kind of guy into the mix. Just they're much more standard in their approach. Just much more by the book than their approach to how they do things. Kevin in the Bronx, what's up, Kevin?
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
What's happening?
Hey, listen, I hear what you're saying about the odds on the football, the NC2A football. Mike, it seems real close to me. Like, I just looked myself, and you have a 2-1 is Alabama, and then Clemson's at like 2.25 to 1. They were 9.
My point is that Clemson's ranked number 1. And Alabama's ranked number 4, and Alabama's still the favorite of all of them. That's why they belong there.
Yeah, Mike, do you ever remember, though? I mean, the biggest underdog, well, actually the two other teams, Georgia and, slipping my mind, Oklahoma, are 3.5 to 1. So nobody's bigger than a 3.5 to 1
That's
dog.
Fine. That's not unusual.
Do you ever remember it being like who was the biggest dog last year? Do you have any idea?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but you know what?
Me neither.
But most of the time they're fairly close. That's not my point, though. My point is that Alabama was favored. Clemson's the number 1 team. Everyone agrees, but Alabama's favored over them in the game. So the point is, if they had left Alabama out of this, they were leaving the strongest team in the country out. That the way I use it is, I say who would be favored on a neutral field is the best way to come up with whether a team is stronger than another team, because those odds makers do that for a living, and clearly Alabama would be everyone's choice. So it shows you that they belong in the game, which is my point. Alabama is favored over Clemson, which is ranked number 1 in the country, and rightly so. They deserve to be ranked number 1. But Alabama is not a 10-point underdog. They're favored against Clemson. Larry in Danbury. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
I wanted to make a comment on Ohtani. It really bothers me, and I know I'm a spoiled Yankee fan. I'm not used to too many of these guys, free agents, players, not wanting to come to the Yankees. I mean, I remember maybe back when I was a little kid, Maddox being a free agent and not wanting to come here, but really
So wait a second, you're upset that Ohtani doesn't want to come to the Yankees?
I am upset. I don't understand why. With Matsui recruiting him, Tanaka here, I don't understand how a guy can rule out the Yankees so quickly.
Well, wait, isn't he allowed to?
He's allowed to. I know he's totally allowed to. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why wouldn't he want to? I understand you say it a lot, and you're right. These guys in these sports, they don't really need to come to New York anymore to be huge celebrities. But, this isn't like LeBron coming to the Knicks. This is the Yankees. This is,
I understand that, but the point is, Seattle is attractive from a city standpoint, very attractive to somebody from that part of the world, number 1. From that, number 2, that franchise is a franchise they know well in the Far East too. So from that standpoint, from ownership standpoint, and also from Ichiro, so I don't have any problem with that. I mean, to me, I think everybody just feels like the Yankees are always going to get the guy, and that it's okay when the Yankees are going to get him. So to me, I actually think I don't like when everyone screams that the Yankees got the guy and it's unfair and this and that. Now that they're not getting him, I'm happy, because I think it's better that they don't get him. I actually, when a guy comes that way, everyone always treats it like, oh my God, the Yankees of course get richer, blah, blah, blah. I kind of like it that he's not going to the Yankees.
Yeah, I just, from what they're saying about him though, I mean, the last thing I want to do is see him in Seattle.
Why? Well, how about this? We'll move him east. How about we put him in Boston?
No, and he already ruled them out too.
No, he did, yeah. He did. So, I mean, it's not like he's going to the Red Sox. Somebody wants to go, evidently he wants to go to Seattle is what you're hearing from everybody. So more power to him. I actually think it's a good thing that he's not going to the Yankees. I really do. Because I think when the Yankees get those guys, it makes everybody think like the Yankees, it's not fair. Like the Yankees are getting an unfair, advantage because they're the Yankees. And so I like the idea. I always like the Yankees better when everyone doesn't think they're getting every player. Because that way you don't hear so much moaning and groaning about it. Because the Yankees are always going to get their fair share of players. We know that. I mean, that's always the case. But, there's certain Yankee fans who think it is their, absolute right that they have to get every one of these guys. That if they don't get them, there's something wrong with the system, Are you brokenhearted, Chris, that you're not getting Ohtani or what?
I wouldn't go as far as to say brokenhearted, but I thought for sure he was coming.
So I think everyone did.
Yeah, I really did.
I think everyone's stunned. I'm actually happy he's not. I really, because I don't like when everyone thinks like the Yankees have some big advantage. I don't like that. I like it when they don't think they have an advantage. I like this year. This year was fun, It's fun when not everybody expects the Yankees to win and they win.
I like having a pitching staff, though, so...
I understand, but you know what? It's the Yankees have more than enough ability to go out and get pitchers if they want them. So we all know that. So to me, I think it's a good thing. Now, I would have rather seen him on a team that that's not a bad team for him. Where would I have wanted him if I could have put him somewhere? Well,
he's a weird guy, though. Think about the money he's passed up. Now he wants to go to a West Coast small market team.
Well, yeah, but you remember, that's a very popular city, though, for people from the Far East. They like that city. They always do. Plus, that franchise has got ties back to – that franchise does have ties back to that part of the world. So that's not unusual for the Mariners. It really isn't. Jack and Merrick, what's up, Jack?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a different twist on – I'd like to hear your opinion.
Go ahead.
What do you think for the Giants? Excuse me. If they bring in Peyton Manning as the offensive coordinator, okay, to run down the table with his brother, and they surround him with top-notch coaches, what do you think that would do for the Giants? A, it would bring in a whole new regime. B, it would bring the two brothers together to one of the greatest quarterbacks of our time. And I think that the man is a phenomenal play caller. And I think that it would just resurrect the Giants. That's my personal opinion. I'd like to know what you think about
listen,
that.
I think Peyton Manning could be a decent offensive coordinator. I don't think he'd be too happy with the pay cut, but I think he might be a good coordinator. I think he probably would be. I agree with you. I just don't think he's going to work for what an offensive coordinator gets paid. Dan in Massachusetts, what's up, Dan?
Mike, I've been a Giants fan since '58. That's 59 years. Mm-hmm. And the last time I called you on the Giants was the Friday before the playoff game last year with Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And I was on early. I said I had 2 points. One, the Giants secondary, and the other one was Jerry Reese. Mm-hmm. We spoke on the secondary, but I was never able to get in on Reese. Mm-hmm. And what was funny about it was about 5 o'clock that day, you asked the callers, where are all the Jerry Reese calls? And you hadn't had any for 2 months. So could I touch upon Reese today?
Go ahead.
Okay. On Jerry's drafts were mediocre over the years, especially in the mid-rounds, 3 to 5. That's terrible. And I came to understand why Coughlin was so upset over losing his job, because if Reese had spent the money the year before on free agents, Coughlin would have still been the coach. And then when Reese did spend all that money they gave him, he overpaid so he wouldn't get fired, because, Mike, the 3 guys he picked, you and I could have picked those guys. It makes me laugh, all the credit that he gets, because even the Super Bowls, most of that roster was put together by Ernie Accorsi. So I don't know what was so great about Jerry Reese at all.
All right, well, you wanted your piece, you got it. Brian in Rockville Center, what's up, Brian?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
Hey, listen, I know you're done with the compliment, so I'm going to say is I'm really going to miss you.
Thanks.
I really
appreciate
am.
It. Thanks.
And my favorite call I ever made to you was when you and I last Christmas went back and forth on Rocky IV. That was just priceless.
Yeah.
And a beautiful moment, Mike, was when Tony Russo, may rest in peace, called you and asked if he could call any time. That was a beautiful moment.
It was a very nice one, and unfortunately, you haven't improved in terms of reviews with your Rocky IV stuff, which is one of the worst movies ever made. Absolutely. And my two stooges in here both like Rocky IV. They're both big Ivan Drago fans, okay? So they love it. When Rocky goes up the side of the mountain with the beard, with the Mercedes-Benz spinning its wheels, chasing him up the hill, or when he's pulling like 8 people on that wooden bench or whatever it is, or then the classic scene, though, after he bleeds. And he realizes he has blood on his head. That's always a good one too. And he finally bleeds, Drago. And then, of course, at the end, when he drapes himself in the flag and does that 15-minute speech that could absolutely peel the paint off the walls, about if you can do it, and I can do it, and we can do it, and you can do it, and I can do it. But you know what we have to do right now? We have to do Eli Manning. We're going to do that right after this.